I recently got some new tattoos. They weren't really impulsive because I'd been planning them for a while, but I didn't really think about the implications of getting them right now. Summer is coming up fast, which means it's gonna be really warm and it's gonna be really easy for me to overheat, but also I need to keep my tattoos covered up and protected from the sun. And I didn't really think about that before getting them. So what I thought I could do is make like a cute little lace sleeved cardigan almost, but with enough breathability and with a light enough material that, you know, there's still lots of airflow so I wouldn't get too warm. And of course, because it's me, I'm gonna come up with the pattern myself because I looked on Ravelry and didn't find anything that I liked. I'm sure we all remember this beautiful shawl that I made in my How I Learned to Spin Wool video. And I am going to borrow very heavily from this for this pattern, but I won't do the exact same thing. This is just the only lace-like thing I've crocheted, so it makes the most sense for me to draw from this. For the actual material, I bought these yarn cakes from Sheepy's Whirl. It is 215 grams and 1,000 meters, and I did buy 2 of them. So my plan is to do like half of the cardigan with each. The sleeves will probably be the center. The edge of the sleeves will start at the dark green and then we'll move up to the lighter colors as we go up my body and into the like front and back of the cardigan. Also, since I'm coming up with this pattern kind of on the fly, I'm gonna be writing everything down so that I can replicate what I do on one side on the other side. And with that, I think we're ready to get started. So in a turn of events that no one could have predicted, winging it made my stitch math not work out, which is, you know, fine. I can start over, that's fine. You know, I'll consider this a test. And I even noticed while I was crocheting it that it was getting too big and there were increases and it was getting a little warped, so I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed. So I'm going to go double check the shawl pattern and see what happened there. And then I will do some stitch math. I saw Complicated Knots' latest video where she used, I think, a V-stitch. So I'm gonna go look that up, because I really did like the look of that. Although that might have to wait until higher at my arm. Definitely the base of the arm is going to have to be pretty coveragey. Okay. I'm gonna frog this back to the foundation row and then we'll see what's next. Here's what I finished yesterday. We got the first color in the cake done. You can see we're starting to get the lighter turquoise. I will admit that on the cake when I saw that it has color change that are tied and then not, can be discreetly hidden. I got worried, but I bought it anyway. It's not really even a knot, it's 2 yarns twisted together, like exactly what you would do if you were spinning your own yarn. They way oversell how disruptive it's going to be. It was totally fine. The idea is it's going to be a sleeve like this. There still are, you know, holes, so it's going to be breathable, but hopefully, especially, you know, with movement, not going to be in that exact position the whole time. It'll give enough cover to my skin and my tattoos. I don't know why, despite the fact that I skipped 2 crochets here for the clusters of 3, I thought I only needed to add 1 chain here. I have half as many single or double crochets up here as I need. So, time to frog again. So we're getting to the point where the arm length is going like past where I have new tattoos. So for more breathability, I can have a little more of a meshy sort of thing. So I tried this like slip stitch chain based mesh. And if anything, I maybe should have used it towards the bottom. You can't even really see there's anything there. So I'm gonna frog that too. In this row, I did way too many crochet. I think I miscounted what I would need. Frogging this too. I did a lot of crocheting at the tea shop and I'm actually really happy with how it's looking with the length and where I like stopped the thicker section and started doing the looser section. I think it's really pretty. I can totally picture it, you know, being nice and loose. So I got to this point and I was thinking, okay, I'll just do a couple of sections of like double crochet and then a real quick single crochet to like strengthen the seam. And then I thought, you know, I'm just really quickly gonna see if this is going to fit around me. me. And I guess technically it does, but it's just a lot tighter than I was picturing. And what's really frustrating is I remember when I was planning out this project, I thought to myself, I have to measure the diameter of my bicep so that when I start the rectangle, it's gonna stay, you know, the same for the whole sleeve. So I had a little freak out and then decided here it's still a little loose. It's not until like here that it starts to become a problem. Even that's not bad. It's really just, yeah, it's really just this last section of mesh where I think I have to undo it. And then what I'm going to do to make it bigger is, so currently the mesh is little squares, and basically I'm going to make the top longer, so it's gonna end up going like, pew. And this will be something that I'm gonna have to keep track in here in order to recreate it for the other sleeve, because we're trying to match here. Okay. I have been being so productive on the second sleeve. I'm really, really proud of it actually. This is like, I don't know, I started it last night. It's been going really well, except it's too wide. I somehow ended up increasing somewhere. Like it's a clear trapezoid. It is already as wide as the top where I had to extend it to fit on my arm. Look at that. And I don't know what to do. I don't know whether or not to like frog it and start over. In a vacuum, you'd think this was good. I think it'll be noticeable. I really thought when I hit the second sleeve it'd be easy, that I'd just be following the instructions and it would be fine. I apologize if you can hear the construction going on outside. At first I thought it was a woodpecker, but it's too much for that. It's not the woodpecker on our chimney. Anyway, I finished both sleeves and I wanted to show you them because I wanted to tell you why I'm not fixing something. I need to explain something to, oh no, what has happened? So I saved on both of them these little bundles to sew with because I didn't want to have to sew later with different colors, if that makes sense, because of the ombres. Like I saved the correct color for sewing, even though the sewing probably won't be seen. So which one of these did I do first? Hold on, let's do the TikTok reveal thing, right? The unrolling. Here's sleeve number 1. Look how pretty that is. I love it. And sleeve number 2. Now you might notice something. This is a lot thinner in the middle, much more of an hourglass shape than sleeve number 1. And yeah, I screwed up and I didn't realize until the very end. And I had to make the choice of, am I going to undo half of the sleeve? But yeah, now I have both sleeves and I think they're both beautiful. So it's time to start on, I think the 2 front panels are gonna go next because I want the colors of the sleeves at the top to match the colors here. And then as they go down, they'll turn into a different color, which will then match with the back. I'm okay if the back is a little disjointed, is that the right word? And worst case scenario, I go back to the yarn store, assuming it hasn't closed to relocate yet. Fingers crossed. Originally, I was going to do something really simple. I was thinking I would just do like a mesh, because this is meant to be an outer layer, so I'll be wearing a tank top underneath, like I don't need coverage. But then, as always happens, I was scrolling Instagram making up this morning, and I saw someone with a lovely Instagram reel, I'll put it here, and they used something called a pineapple stitch for the skirt. And I looked at it and I went, oh my goodness, that is exactly what I want for the front and back of this little cover-up thing. I have to learn how to make that, and it has 18 rows for repetition. Why do I have to choose the hardest projects? Why do I do this to myself? Why am I like this? I don't know, but I have spent the entire morning looking up pineapple stitch tutorials. That's the word, tutorials. And the one that I like the most is the one that only has a video tutorial instead of having it written down also. And then on top of that, I probably want to do like a border so it's not just like pineapple stitch to the end. And I don't really love the idea of having to then go like horizontal out, but it's probably the smarter thing to do. Oh no, I can't do the horizontal out. That's right, I did think of this. I can't do the horizontal later because then it will be a different color and I can't have that. So before my dentist appointment, I am going to make a couple rows at least, I want to say. Writing down a pattern for this to recreate it on the other side is going to be bonkers, but I'm going to do it. I'm just probably not going to write it in my journal. I probably will actually like type it up because using technology is important and not wasting paper and all that. So the pattern had the wrong multiples for the foundation row. So I already get to start this over and I've only done 3 rows. Starting over already. So it is clear to me now that the pattern expects you to do at least 2 repetitions-ish. They don't expect you to have the pineapple. This is what's going to form the big pineapple. They don't expect it to be here. So this is a half pineapple that goes right into a full pineapple. It's not gonna work. So I have to undo the last 2 rows and then I think what I'm going to do is just like an edge here basically, and then this will be what attaches to the back. So like this will become the side seam and this will become the thing that ties to the other half. So this will become the center. Okay, this is good in theory, but it's not actually that good. I think the pineapple really wants to be like kind of distinct. So instead I think I'm going to try single crocheting it down here and then having just the edge of the 1DC here. So the current way that I am figuring out this pattern is I am watching the video that has the pineapple stitch and I watch 1 row, and as I am watching, I type it into my computer doc. And then I have to switch the sections around because they're assuming like it's gonna be a mirror image on both sides. And I'm not doing that because I'm just doing like 1/2 basically. So I have to switch the sections around and then I have to decide what I'm doing for my like end section, the seam part. So we're going slowly, but we are making progress. I am so annoyed right now because, so here's the actual like half pineapple. Here is the improvised edge that I did. And the half pineapple looks so much better. It also, because it's double crochet, I don't know, it just seems like thicker. And I'm realizing like, oh, should I like crochet a border around this? Oh, but I don't have the same color. I'm trying to decide if I should start over or not. Because there's no way I can't do, well, something I could do. Oh no, this is a really good idea. I could chop this in half, make something just this long, because it is a little too long already for my shoulder, because then this eventually, I believe, becomes another pineapple. Because if it does, then it'll look really good. There'll be like, you know, a big pineapple thing going down and then half pineapples on the sides. Oh, I'm so angry. This is such a good idea. Okay. I got this far into my new version with half pineapples on both sides and then the V-stitch funkiness in the middle, except for I made the funkiness too funky and I made it too wide on row 4. So we are frogging back to row 4. We are on row 13 and I think it's going pretty well this time. We got that pineapple at the bottom there. The only thing is, I think it's at the point where, okay, so if this is, you know, the edge of my shoulder where it's gonna meet the back, I think it's at the point where we want it to start getting bigger soon. Now on the sides, we're doing the V-stitches. We're doing like half V-stitches, but I think I'm gonna do full V-stitches for this one and play it loosey-goosey following the actual video pattern, and once again sort of just improvising my own because that went so well last time. I'll leave the stitch marker here so that when I inevitably have to frog a bunch of stitches back, it'll be easier to find where things went wrong. Here we are now. You can see this is where I left off saying I think I'm gonna start extending the outside. Honestly, on my shoulder, it fits pretty dang perfectly, which is how it's gradually sloping out like this. And I genuinely might keep this stitch marker here too as like a, okay, we're good up to here now, but still keeping that one here in case something goes wrong. This center here is gonna become a new pineapple. The center here is gonna become a new pineapple. And then this is going to become the new this. Things are going so well. It's even written properly on my sheet, but on accident, I tried to put these into like chain spaces instead of just onto the DC. So I ended up with 1 less here and then 1 less loop. So I have to undo almost 2 entire rows. Yay. Good morning. Last night was chaos. We had to jumpstart my car, which really didn't want to jumpstart. And so in between waiting for the battery to properly charge a little bit while it was hooked up to the other battery. Anyway, I did do some more. I think it's looking really good, and I think it's finally wide enough where I can actually start doing like half things on the side again instead of just increasing it, basically. It's really cute. We're on row 30. I think it looks really beautiful. Like, it's definitely giving the effect that I wanted for this piece. At this point, I pretty much know the pattern, so I'm hoping it's smooth sailing from here. But of course, whenever I say that, it is not smooth sailing. So wish me luck, I guess. It has been 2 minutes since that last clip, and I have discovered something wrong, except I don't know where I went wrong. I've been staring at the pattern, the example pattern, and, you know, my actual clothing for ages now, and for some reason, my pineapple stitch pattern, like the row it's on, is one ahead of where the V-stitches and the new pineapples are. There is a strong part of me that wants to just keep going, but I think I'm gonna keep looking to figure out where I messed up. I found what went wrong. Up here, this is a correct pineapple. This is the 9 double crochet that like leads to the full pineapple. Over here in the same row, we have a V-stitch here. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 V-stitches, and then we have the V-stitches start to split again to form the next pineapple. So 5 and then split. Down here, these are the messed up ones. Here's the 9 double crochet again, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the split. So this one is what's wrong. So if I remove back to here and then do the split that I have in this row, then that's gonna fix everything. The plot thickens. My pattern is right. I think it's possible I ended up redoing a row last night with all the wild stuff going on. I'm gonna pay a lot more attention to the pattern now, and we're going to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I found where the pattern was wrong, or at least one of the places where the pattern was wrong that I have to change. In my written pattern, I did repeat a row once, so I bet what happened is I went, oh, I already did this row. I'm gonna skip to the next row, and then that's where things got out of sync. That's good. I can fix it now. Oh, I really hope the second panel doesn't have this much of a problem. Okay, so got the whole front panel done. That's exciting. I did give up on the pineapple stitch right about there. I just couldn't do it anymore. But I think it looks really pretty. It gets far enough down that I think the flowy part is, you know, just gonna be non-pineapple stitch, and that's okay. The decision to make now is to do the other panel, or could I do the back? Because if I did the back, then I could at least sort of attach this and a sleeve on one side, and then I'd kind of know what it looked like. Downside though, more pineapple stitch. I'll do the other front panel first, mostly because I'm watching Survivor, and I don't want to have to watch the pineapple stitch video again. I need to remove 2 rows already. When I did the turning chain, I skipped too many. My numbers are all off because I accidentally did 8 double crochet instead of 9 to start the new pineapple. And I had to undo 2, but I thought I just wouldn't count them because it was going to be smooth sailing. The math isn't mathing, and I can't figure out why, and I'm so tired. The second one's supposed to be easy. It's the same thing again. It's the starting of the pineapple. Somehow I end up with one less little, I don't know, scallop half circle than I need, and I cannot figure out what. Oh! Okay, well this doesn't look that bad on here. I'm getting a little nervous because, so here's the original, and then here's the second one. The white threads have started in a lot earlier. They didn't start here until, at the other side. And also, this one is just a little bigger than this one. And for both of these problems, I have no idea what the solution is. I am just telling myself that the color gradient being a little different on one is fine, and that the sizing difference will be fixed with some combination of attaching it to the other pieces and water blocking if I have to risk water blocking. Good morning. I have been crocheting for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I finished the pineapple section of the second one. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, I just did the bottom border, the little squaring off sort of border for the bottom that I learned in my crocheting an ace pride blanket video. And I'm about to do the easy section where I don't have to stare at the pattern the whole time. Do you ever make a mistake where you're just like, how? How did I make this mistake? I just made one of those mistakes. Let me show you. Okay, so this is the first one. This is the second one. You'll notice I forgot to do a whole chunk of double crochet here to like finish out the rest of the bottom. So now I get to undo 2 3/4 rows to actually finish this row. And I have a meeting right now. How do I do this? So here's the first 20 rows of the back. The repeat in the pineapple stitch is row like 3 up here down to row 20. So I'm about to start over. And I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be just doing this one more time, and then I'll reach like the part of the front panels where I squared it off and then started just like a more simple sort of mesh pattern to match the sleeves. The thing I've noticed is that the first 3 rows up here are the hardest because I'm like trying to get the count right, and I'm not convinced that the pattern like gives me the right number, or maybe I'm just really bad at turning my work at this point and like getting the right count from that for something where you actually need the exact right count. That's very possible. But that's usually where the counting and the math gets screwed up. But then the same thing happens again, even once I have the right number of rows and stuff. It seems to just happen in this part again. So anyway, I did have to restart the top like twice. But overall, I think it came out just absolutely beautifully. And it feels like a really good, half day of work. And I'm just gonna keep going. And maybe by the end of today, I will have all of the pieces and they'll be ready to stitch together. Good morning. I have finished the back of the bolero I figured out this is called. Yesterday I was feeling really not good and really tired, but that is a great time to sit and crochet. It's something that you have a set pattern for, so it actually worked out really well. I did the same trim, I guess, on the bottom, and it's really interesting because for whatever reason it doesn't quite match, and I'm sure, if you took a look at the pattern, I'm sure you could figure out where I screwed up. I just don't care that much. So I'm just going to, when I sew this together, I'm just going to match this bottom line here where the squaring off and double crochets all are. So I am going to finish this off, and then I will pin everything together with stitch markers, and we will make sure that everything fits. And if it doesn't, I will cry, and then we will figure out how to fix it. Okay, so good news and bad news. The bad news is the back is definitely too narrow. Narrow's the right word. The good news is that the front pieces were a little too big, so they basically compensate really nicely. And I was planning on having like a tie here anyway, because, this is like a cute summer jacket. It doesn't need to completely close. And we have these 2 pieces here, so I'll just attach a tie there. I can tie in the middle, and the back can be as loose as I need it to be. So that's really good. So yeah, that's good news, because honestly, if I had to redo the back, I think I would have given up and you'd have never seen this video. But yeah, I think it looks really cute. I just realized that I have the seam, the sewing stuff here. That was supposed to be the stuff this was supposed to be how I was going to attach the side seam. So actually I need to flip these around and try them on again. Okay, I'm back. And yes, I did flip it around so you can see the seam thread is back here now. So yay, got that. That was pretty easy. Something that's really funny is I realized that normally I do this completely the opposite direction. I normally do the back first, then the front panels, then the sleeves, and I literally completely reversed it for this project because the sleeves are the most important part instead of like the body being the most important part. So that's cool. I don't know if one is like better than the other or anything. I just think it's interesting. So yeah, it fits, it looks good. Maybe it's a little tight on the back. I don't really care. Honestly, at this point, I'm just happy that it fits and works. I'm going to single crochet this all together. So remember how I had saved all those threads in order to like sew the different parts together? Well, it worked really good as long as that yarn lasted, but it ended very prematurely. So I've been trying to use yarn from later on and it just, you can see it through. So either I do have to mattress stitch, which still might have the same problem, or I have to go to the yarn store and hope that they haven't closed for their move yet and that I can pick up the exact same yarn. Okay, so here's what ended up happening. My husband and I went out for lunch and found a yarn store kind of nearby because the yarn store that I normally went to and where I bought the cakes of yarn was forced to move. So they are currently closed for moving, which is a bummer because I couldn't just go buy the exact same yarn. I brought the other sleeve that I haven't pinned in place yet to lunch with us, and then we went not really to a yarn store, but to a place called Seattle Recreative, which is kind of like a thrift secondhand store, but for craft supplies. And this was one of the coolest shops I have ever been to in my entire life. It was like a dream come true for crafting. It was so cool. They didn't have like yarn that really matched, but I did find this embroidery thread for $1, so that was nice. And it's not a perfect match, but I think it's close enough that just in the seam it won't be really like noticeable or distracting. So second verse, same as the first, we're just going to be stitching the sleeves together and then trying this on. Now it's time for the reveal.